welcome in to the Raiders Report with Mitchell Renz. Psych, it's me, Jeremy Chugss, stepping in while he's on vacation. But we had some breaking news happen today. Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't even know how to break this down. Jimmy Garoppolo suspended 2 games for violating the NFL PED policy. The weakest armed quarterback in the entire NFL gets busted for PEDs. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Let me know down in the comment section right off the top your one-word reaction to the Jimmy G news. I mean, Jimmy G busted for PEDs after the worst year of his career. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section. Hilarious. I mean, obviously it's not funny that he's having to deal with this, but it's hilarious that, like I said, the almost arguably the weakest armed quarterback in the entire NFL gets busted for PEDs. Now, to kind of put it into more context, it's not the traditional PEDs or what you're all thinking about. He's not Barry Bonds in it back in the Raiders locker room. The violation came to place from him using prescribed medication without having a valid therapeutic use exemption. The Raiders, they were already expected to cut him, but I think this is just the nail in the coffin for Jimmy G. It turns out, looks like he was using medication to kind of help him come back from that injury that he had the year prior and did not get the correct exemptions from the NFL. This coming from Adam Schefter right after the news. The Raiders are expected to release Jimmy Garoppolo before the 5th day of the new league year in mid-March, when he would earn an $11.25 million roster bonus per sources. And hey, this is why you subscribe to the Raiders Report. Even when Mitch is eating snails and baguettes, I'm here to break down some news for you. So go down and hit that subscribe button right now for daily Raiders content. We never miss a beat here on the Raiders Report. We are the most informative Raiders YouTube channel out there. So what are you waiting for? Go hit that sub button right now to get daily Raiders news and rumors videos. Now, you're like, oh, wow, what are the Raiders going to miss in Jimmy G? Turns out, not a lot. These are his stats from 7 games played in 2023, a 65.1 completion percentage, a little bit over 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. So not really a bad thing per se for the Raiders organization. Like I said, they were already expected to cut him, looking for new quarterback options going into next season. And if it wasn't already over, it's Jover now for Jimmy G in Las Vegas. Now, coming up, I'm going to tell you what the Raiders will end up doing with Jimmy G and their different options. But first, today's video wouldn't be possible without our friends over at Game Time. Yes, Game Time, the last second ticketing app, lowest prices guaranteed. If you're looking to go out to Vegas, this is the absolute perfect app for you. Shows last minute, sporting events like the Golden Knights. If you want to go to a comedy show, you have a favorite singer in Las Vegas, this is the best app. And let me tell you a story about my experience with Game Time, because this app absolutely saved me. As you know, me and Mitch, we were out on Radio Row. We were there for all the media stuff during Super Bowl 58, and I said, hey, I want to see what's going on in Vegas. There's so much to do. It's Super Bowl week. I got last-second tickets for an insanely low price. What if I told you under $50, I got to see 3 of my favorite comedians? Real talk. The day of the event, I looked on Game Time, and they had tickets to see Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, and Shane Gillis. Snagged it. It was $50 plus. I got $20 off with my Game Time app whenever you use code RaidersChat. For first-time users, go down and use RaidersChat at Game Time. $20 off whenever you do. Terms do apply. Game Time, last-second tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Go check them out today, our friends over at Game Time. Now, if we're looking at the Jimmy G contract, he signed a 3-year deal this past offseason worth $72.75 million. The Raiders, they restructured it, giving him 2 void years in 2026 and 2027, a cap hit of $28.5 million in 2024 and 2025. Now, let me just make this completely clear, if it wasn't already in the top half of the video. There is a 0% chance that Jimmy G is on the Raiders next season. An absolute 0% chance. And more than that, I know a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just why don't you go out and try to trade him? He's still a quarterback, could have some value. I mean, yes, the Raiders save $11.4 million. They'll eat $17.1 million in a trade. The new team would take on $11.3. The value of fifth at their best. I mean, now I don't even know if you get a seventh. I think you might have to give up assets to trade away Jimmy G, because no team is going to trade for Jimmy G's contract. He stinks. He always gets injured, and now he's got a 2-game suspension for PEDs going into next year. Even if somehow you did that, say, you know what, I want Jimmy G to start for us next year, which I don't think there's any team in the NFL or maybe even the UFL, Canadian Football League, that's like, wow, Jimmy G could be our guy next season. And cutting Jimmy G, which is more than likely going to happen. The 5th day of the 2024 new league year, as Adam Schefter referenced earlier, if you have been watching the Raiders report, we have been breaking this down for the past month and a half. $11.25 million roster bonus. The cut happens before March 19th, 2024. Due to his contract, a post-June 1st is the only option, because the post-June 1st cut will save the Raiders more. So they'll be able to cut Jimmy G early on, but that money won't be allocated to them until after June 1st. So Jimmy G most likely going to be a post-June 1st cut candidate, along with Hunter Renfrow. Each team is allowed to designate 2 players as post-June 1st cut candidates before that deadline. So it is important to know that the $13 million that the Raiders save by cutting Jimmy G won't be added until after June 1st. But they're still going to do that because that is the best option for them moving forward and to get off of Jimmy G's contract and get him out of Las Vegas. And obviously, talking about the quarterback position, I actually also put in a depth chart in there if we want to go to it. Who do you want to be the Raiders quarterback next season? Because now that Jimmy G is off the roster, it's more than likely going to be a new face in Las Vegas, like we already thought so. Aidan O'Connell, the QB1 right now. QB2 is Jimmy Garoppolo. QB3, Brian Hoyer. But, I mean, Jimmy G's going to be gone. So then you have Aidan O'Connell, Brian Hoyer, the most least exciting QB depth chart in the history of the NFL, maybe. Brian Hoyer and AOC. You can't roll with that. So let me know down in the comment section who you want to be the quarterback of the Raiders next season. Is it a free agent option? Maybe like a Russell Wilson or a Kirk Cousins? Or are you looking at somebody in the draft? Do you want to trade up for Jayden Daniels? I know there's a lot of Bo Nix lovers out there. Let me know who you want the QB to be next season for the Silver and Black. Now, that's all I have for you on today's show. If you haven't already, go follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Chugss, breaking down Raiders news around the NFL, pop culture, the dankest memes on the internet. If you want all of that, go follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Chugss. And if you haven't already, hit that sub button. We're bringing you daily Raiders videos all year long leading up into free agency. We'll be live for the entire 2024 NFL Draft, so I don't want you to miss a thing. We are the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube, so join the wave.